All right, so, we got a very special panel coming up next, and I won't give too much away. Let's just say involves sports, sustainability, and a little something called FIFA World Cup, right? Please let's just watch this video. Awesome. Please join me in welcoming one of our absolute favorite mayors, Honorable Jim Ross, Mayor of Arlington. Alongside him is an amazing leader. She's leading the charge on sustainability. She's the Chief Sustainability Officer for FIFA Dallas, and also the Chief Sustainability and Economic Development Officer at University of Texas Arlington, Ms. Meghna Tare. And guiding this timely conversation is Aaditya Tangri, Chair of the Global Sustainable Action Alliance and founder of the Dedicated Impact and Sustainability Corridor, DISC. All right, let's give them a round of applause.
All right. I personally fought Rajan on this panel, and I said, hey man, if there's a panel that I want to be on and moderating, it's this panel because I am a sports fan. I am a FIFA fan, and I wanted to be part. And I am also a fan of sustainability and economic development. And I said, hey man, this checks out. I really need to be on this panel. Thank you, Mayor Ross, and thank you, Meghna, for joining us today. I'm just gonna give a very high-level highlight of what Mayor Ross is all about if you don't already know him. So Mayor Jim Ross was elected to the office of mayor at the city of Arlington in June 21, and Jim has spent decades serving his community and his country. A proud resident of Arlington for 40 years, that's how old I am, by the way. He has...
Thanks for pointing that out.
He has witnessed the growth and growing pains this community has endured. From 1979 to 83, Jim served this country as a United States Marine. Having received his honorable discharge in 1983, Jim moved to Texas, where he was soon hired by the Arlington Police Department. During his 13-year career as police officer, Jim was a member of Arlington's first full-time Special Operations Unit, SWAT. That's pretty cool. Jim taught self-defense and physical fitness at the police academy and spent over 6 years investigating illegal narcotics trafficking both locally and with the DEA task force. In '96, Jim decided to make a career change and go to law school, which he completed in 28 months. He studied and passed the state of Texas bar exam on his first attempt and was licensed as an attorney in May '99. Fast forward to 2009, Jim left the larger firms to pursue private practice and established the Jim Ross Law Group. In November 2017, Jim opened the Mercury Chop House Arlington, a fine dining steakhouse, and in 23, he opened the Hearsay Arlington Lounge and Restaurant in Choctaw Stadium. Jim is an active and proud resident of Arlington, and he serves on the board of multiple organizations. Jim, if I proceeded to read every single accomplishment on this, we would be done with the panel, but it's such a pleasure and privilege to be sitting next to you.
You could have summed it all up by saying, this guy is really old.
Really cool. This guy is really, really cool. Meghna, thank you for joining us. So Meghna Tare is the Chief Sustainability and Economic Development Officer at UTA. And she's leading the sustainability charge of FIFA Dallas 26. Meghna is a visionary leader and change maker in sustainability, environmental advocacy, and social impact. Currently, she serves as the Chief Sustainability Officer and Economic Development Officer at UTA, where she supports the operations and strategic planning for the university-wide sustainability practices, programs, and policies in collaboration with university operation units, academic and research units, student organizations, and external partners. She has also been supporting, like I said, Dallas FIFA World Cup 2026 as Chief Sustainability Officer, where she's addressing various environmental topics such as waste management, water conservation, energy efficiency, carbon reduction, transportation, air quality, and environmental awareness. She's also the founder and director of Regional Center of Expertise for Education and Sustainable Development, a program of the United Nations University. She was awarded the 2022 United Nations Association Global Leadership Award. Meghna. It's a good thing my mom's not here because, you know, like given the list of your accomplishments, she'd probably want me to go back and pursue some more, probably acquire another degree, and she'd be severely disappointed. So I'm glad that she's really far from here. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining the panel. Mayor Ross, I wanted to start off by saying that there is an event that is happening that I heard in Arlington, and it goes by the name of the FIFA Dallas 26. And Arlington has also become a major hub for live events. From your experience, how do live sporting events shape a city's brand or give it global recognition?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's unique in Arlington because we do have so many different sporting events. And sports has a way of bringing communities together, unlike a lot of other activities. And in Arlington, with FIFA and the Cowboys and the Rangers and the UFL is headquartered there, and North Texas Soccer and the NWBA Wings that play at College Park at UTA, we have an opportunity for people to come, and it's almost like everybody comes into your backyard and enjoys the sporting activities. It's a fun chance for people to get to know each other and to experience a lot of excitement together. So we love being the hub of sports entertainment.
Absolutely, and you mentioned bringing everybody to your backyard, and so when you do bring everybody to your backyard, what kind of economic and social ripple effects or cascading effects do you see when a major event is hosted in your city, be it from people coming out and supporting these teams or businesses booming? Like, could you walk us a bit through that?
Yeah, I think communities have to be careful when you approach the building of new stadiums or new arenas, and we've had no shortage of that happening in Arlington. When we do it, we'll often hear the naysayers say, oh, you're just building really rich people their own stadiums. I can't believe you're giving them that kind of money. What there appears to be with them is a lack of understanding about the economic benefits of having these type of stadiums in our community. These stadiums are paid off well ahead of time. They are generators of massive amounts of sales tax dollars that come into our community. Our local businesses thrive as a result of these stadiums being there. People come in and they eat at our restaurants, they shop at our stores, they're paying to park, they're doing everything right there in town. They're sleeping in our hotel rooms. It's just a massive benefit for the community when it's done properly.
Absolutely, and I just wanted to inquire, at what point in the event planning process or opening up your backyard to sporting events does sustainability come in? Is it proactive or reactive?
Yeah, sustainability is a part of everything beginning at the inception phase and follows all the way through everything. When we built AT&T Stadium or Globe Life Field or what's now Choctaw Stadium, We didn't build them with the expectation of this is going to be the home for the Cowboys, this is going to be the home for the Rangers, this is going to be the home for the UFL. We built it with an understanding of this is going to be the home for the Cowboys, but we're also going to do concerts. We're going to do tractor pulls. We're going to do WrestleMania events. We're going to do FIFA World Cup. We're going to do all of these other tremendous activities there. And it's going to be benefiting the community year-round, not just during the 8 home games of the NFL. So sustainability has always been a key part of everything we're doing. Not just that, but you have to know how to work the deals when there's a naming right to it. How does the city get paid out of that? It's always a give and take relationship.
Absolutely. And Meghna, speaking of sustainability, can you please share your approach to making FIFA World Cup Dallas 2026 sustainable?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I work with UT Arlington. It's a privilege and an honor to represent the FIFA World Cup as their Chief Sustainability Officer, and I'm very grateful to UTA and Mayor Ross for that partnership and that engagement. I think sustainability, those who work in this world, they understand something called systems thinking, and that sort of sums up sustainability. Essentially, it is a holistic view towards everything that you do, and we talked about operations, waste management, water conservation, but if you really put it into 4 different buckets, it's social, environmental, economic, and then governance, right? And that's the framework that FIFA released for us to work towards sustainability for a sporting event this size, right? And using those 4 pillars, then you have goals and objectives, and I'm focused on environment, but economic, social, and governance, they are so interlinked with the objectives and the goals that cross-connect and align with each other. And so if I'm working on something related to waste management or water conservation, it impacts the economic pillar, but it also impacts the social pillar, right? So I think the biggest challenge of this event is bringing all the amazing stakeholders, and a lot of them are in the room today, together for an event this size. So those who don't know, Dallas is going to host 9 matches over a period of 2 months with a stadium capacity of 80,000 sitting, 100,000 standing, and having a fan festival for 39 days at Fair Park where you have thousands of visitors coming in. So it is not just operational sustainability, but it's engaging with fans who are not going to be in the stadium physically, but still want to be part of an event this size. And we talk about economic impact. There's reports out there. The FIFA World Cup brings $2 billion in economic impact for North Texas. That's a huge commitment for us, Arlington and Dallas, to deliver an event which essentially follows the theme that FIFA wants us to, but then also do it as a pride for the region, working on the challenges that we have and leveraging the resources that we have.
And Meghna, you touched upon the concept of systems thinking, and you briefly also touched upon having to work with a variety of partners. Could you give us some examples of cross-sector partnerships making a tangible impact in addition to the Fan Fest that you spoke about?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess our biggest partners are City of Arlington and City of Dallas, and we are working with their environmental and sustainability team to do waste reduction, water conservation, energy efficiency, a little bit focus on environmental justice. TFW is a non-attainment for air quality standard. So we have brought in stakeholders like the North Central Texas Council of Governments, which have special programs like Air North Texas that focuses on air quality for the region, right? We are working with some nonprofit like the food banks, Tare Area Food Bank and the North Texas Food Bank, to organize food donation drives, volunteer events for everybody to be part of it. We are working with Texas Tree Foundations to do planting events in Arlington, in Dallas, in Frisco at the Toyota Stadium. We are working with a couple of nonprofits for athletic shoe donation drive, especially engaging with the high school students in Dallas ISD and Arlington ISD. We are working with the Pollinator Garden in Arlington to have volunteer events, spring picnic. We are working with the Fort Worth Botanic Garden, the Dallas Zoo. So just like every stakeholder that's in the region, I want to make them to be a part of this story, right? And leverage their expertise, their resources, and bring them to this bigger conversation for the region.
I had no idea that, in my head, I was just thinking, hey, FIFA's happening, and most of the stuff is just going to be in the stadium or just around the village, around the stadium. But I had no idea that it touches upon each and every facet and partners all across the city with so many moving parts.
Right.
Mayor Ross, could you share some behind the scenes elements that most people don't realize go into preparing a city to host a world-class event in addition to sustainability?
Yeah, anytime you bring something like the World Cup to our city, the first and foremost thing on the list is the safety of both the participants and the spectator. We want to make sure that it is the safest World Cup anywhere, and that's quite an undertaking. We've gotten 9 games in Arlington, and 9 games is more than any other city in the North American World Cup has. That puts a burden to ensure that we are a safe area to go. Not just during the games when everybody is congregating into stadiums, but safe when it comes to the ingress and egress of people getting in and out of the city and getting around the city. We want to make sure that people, whether they're out at Texas Live celebrating and watching what's going on there, or they're hanging out at Globe Life Field, or they're hanging out at AT&T, that they're having a safe and fun experience. So we work with our regional, state, and federal partners on that. It's a collaborative effort. I'll say this, Arlington alone could not do it. Dallas alone could not do it. Fort Worth alone could not do it. It is a collaborative effort with Arlington, Frisco, Dallas, Plano, Grand Prairie, Fort Worth, everybody working together along with the state of Texas and our federal partners to ensure that people are having a wonderful, safe time. So safety is the big issue. The other issues include transportation. They include waste management. When you're putting hundreds of thousands of people into an area, you've got to figure out, what am I going to do with all the waste? What am I going to do with the water? What are we going to do with vehicles? How are we going to get people in and out? Those type of things. So the infrastructure becomes an important aspect of it, along with the transportation and safety. All of that. It's not just about you build it and they will come and everything has to fit together. It is quite a chess match on making sure that you plan for every alternative that's out there and be prepared to put on the best World Cup that you can.
How I'd like to be just a fly on the wall when all those planning processes going. It sounds so interesting. Mayor Ross, Meghna, Mayor Ross touched upon striking the right balance between fun and safety, and creating a safe and a fun environment where fans can obviously support their teams, but also feel safe at the same time. Can you talk to us about some of the biggest challenges and opportunities in bringing together local government, nonprofits, grassroots organizations, and the private sector to deliver on the sustainability promise of a global event like the World Cup?
Yeah. So like I said, and I know Mayor Ross emphasized this, collaboration is the key here. I think something like this cannot happen in silo, and you have to bring people together. And that takes meeting them where they are, because I have realized if you try to bring in people and tell them what to do, they are usually a bit resistant, but working with them, because everybody is struggling with resources and staff, and so working with them with what they have really brings value to the conversation. And I also believe that for an event this size, it's not just about meeting your KPIs, because I feel like that is not serving the community that is hosting such big games, right? So it's not just about carbon reduction or energy efficiency or how many pounds or tons of waste did I divert. It's about, did I offer programs that brought people together in a room that not everybody has access to? Did we touch upon everything from how we are addressing the food systems challenges in the North Texas? How are we addressing transportation? How are we addressing the fact that the games are happening in June and July, which is really hot in Texas? And if spectators are walking around, what do you offer them? And that is as big of a safety concern as anything else, because if people are walking around in heat that's 100 degrees, you need to offer transportation, you need to offer cooling stations. So those kind of conversation takes time. It takes time to build that momentum. It takes time to bring the right stakeholder together, and it's work in progress. And I've been working on this for 1 year, and there's 1 more year to go, but it feels like every time I say, it's happening, and it's just 1 year, it like, oh boy, it's 1 year, because there is so much to be done, and so many people are part of this conversation.
And speaking of working with different organizations and different stakeholders, Mayor Ross, you operate a restaurant, and it happens to be inside a stadium. So I feel that you have empathy, and you are able to understand what some of the businesses would potentially experience and how they're planning for the event. So if you can walk us through how in your interactions with small businesses and other businesses in the region, how are they planning for the event to deliver that fan experience to everybody that's going to be visiting the city?
Sure. I jokingly tell everybody I haven't figured out what I want to be when I grow up yet, because I'm a lawyer, I'm a restaurateur, I'm a mayor. I'm not really sure I want to grow up yet. But people think that because one of my restaurants is smack dab in the middle of the entertainment district, because we're inside Choctaw Stadium, that, man, what a gold mine. People just run into your restaurant and they just spend money. And actually, what we've discovered is it's quite contrary to that. The restaurant is a destination that people, they don't get in their car and go, hey, where are we going to go eat tonight? Let's go over to Hearsay. Because they don't want to go into the entertainment district and fight the traffic and pay for a massive amount for parking. They don't want to go in there and fight the crowds and do all of that kind of stuff. So from a business perspective, it forces you to reevaluate your business plan to try to find other ways to make your business attractive to people. And we've been able to do that. First couple of years it was tough, but we got our legs under us now, and we're doing pretty good with stuff. But it's nothing that just happens automatically. So I empathize, because it's not unique to my business. Every business in the entertainment district experiences that type of stuff. Unless you're Texas Live, which is really the catalyst for what's going on in the entertainment district out there, and smack dab in the middle of it, you don't automatically get that clientele beating down your door coming in, because people don't want to fight the crowds to get there. So you got to find other ways to get people into the door.
Absolutely. And Meghna, can you share, just on that topic, can you share a bit more about the green business certification program that you're developing with the city of Dallas? How do you see local businesses, especially restaurants, playing a role in the tournament's sustainability goals and contributing towards it?
Yeah, I think restaurants are, it's like, we talk about sports, and you cannot not talk about food, right? So when you have so many people visiting, and people want to go and have a good time, eat good food. And so we are working with City of Dallas. I know my colleague is here. We are working with City of Dallas on a green business certification program where hospitality industry, hotels like Marriott's and restaurants, it's almost like a green building certification checklist where if you go through certain initiatives and implement them within your restaurant, say reducing plastic waste, not using styrofoam, or even composting, you get certified as a green business certification restaurant industry by the City of Dallas, and there is no cost to it, by the way. And then on the FIFA's website, we will post that these are the 10 restaurants that are part of the Green Business Certification Program through City of Dallas. So kind of promoting them and giving them the PR that they need for their commitment and their efforts towards sustainability, and sharing them through the social media channels, through newsletters, giving them a chance to highlight their food and their efforts. And we will do that with the hotels as well who are participating, restaurants, and we are doing that in Dallas, and hopefully we can do that in Arlington as well.
And Meghna, I just want on that topic, how much of this is coming top down, that this is a requirement as part of FIFA's efforts to be sustainable? And how much of it is more bottom up, wherein you're seeing restaurants and businesses approach you because they see the benefit or the business case of sustainability, and also being able to market or attract a certain kind of clientele. Like Mayor Ross said, that most restaurants, their dream would be to be a destination restaurant wherein people come to them rather than restaurants constantly having to market themselves.
Yeah, it's not top down. So FIFA has given us 7 objectives to work on sustainability, right? It includes everything from climate change, air quality, biodiversity, environmental justice, infrastructure, and water conservation. But they do not dictate what any individual city is doing. So it's literally up, our paper to fill. And it's not even coming bottoms down because people don't understand how to make that connection. They do not understand what being part of a FIFA program entails. So what we are doing is we are working with Visit Dallas to get this information out to restaurants. And in month of June, we are hosting a webinar where we are going to invite all these restaurants to come listen to our pitch, to tell them what is it that we are planning, what is the commitment at their end, and what is it that they get back in return. And like I said, you have to meet where they are. So even we are conscious of the time that you offer this webinar. You cannot do it at peak lunch time or 10 o'clock. So we will do it when people close for lunch around 2 p.m. So these restaurant owners can join the call to understand if this is something that they want to be part of, because it's commitment at their end as well. And so my job is most of the time trying to make that connection for them and giving them the help and the resources that they need to come on board as a participating organization.
Excellent, Meghna. Now I'm having FOMO, Mayor Ross. I wish I had a restaurant so that I could be one of the restaurants for
You still have 1 year.
Right, exactly. I still have 1 year. Mayor Ross, I was curious to note if any of the other mayors that have previously hosted a FIFA event from a city around the world have reached out to you, or have you reached out to any one of them to perhaps learn about some of the best practices, not just on sustainability, but overall at a city level when it comes to hosting such an event?
Yes, I suffered through a wonderful trip to Doha, Qatar. And I went out there just prior to Qatar hosting the World Cup out there. And I toured all of their stadiums and spoke with mayors out there and spoke with the FIFA committee out there to see what they were doing in preparation. And we stole a lot of really good ideas, like any good trial lawyer would do, is you steal everybody else's ideas. And then we say that we came up with those ideas ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Are you willing to share some of the ideas, or would people would have to just wait and find out?
Oh, well, you'll see the wonderful things. One thing I did not get, because I don't have Qatar type money, okay?
That's right.
Not
yet.
I went out there and I was sitting at one of their stadiums, and it's an outdoor stadium. And if you've never been to Doha, it's extraordinarily hot.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, how are we going to keep people cool during these games? And I looked down under the seats, and underneath each seat were 3 vents. Every single seat in the stadium.
Wow.
It had 3 air-conditioned vents. And all around the field had these massive airplane-looking turbine vents that was air conditioning the outside stadium and everybody's seat in the entire stadium. And I thought, that's too much money. That is part. So I wasn't able to steal that idea. Thank God that AT&T is enclosed, and we didn't need to do that, and we have enough air conditioning in there. But yeah, it was phenomenal.
And Mayor Ross, have you extended invites to some of the mayors around the world to come visit Arlington during FIFA?
I don't have to extend invites because they all come knocking on the door.
And
they're like, Mayor, I want to get in. This is my favorite team. If this team plays and we don't know who's playing what, where, if this team plays in Arlington, I want to get tickets there. And I'm like, well, the mayor doesn't get to just give away tickets. So it's quite interesting. It's quite fun. I get a ton of interest from all over the world, mayors from everywhere that would love to come in. That's what's really exciting about FIFA and the World Cup being played here in North Texas, is it gives us an opportunity to showcase who we are and what we're about.
In my head, I'm almost imagining a secret iMessage group text going around with mayors, and they're saying, hey, Jim, how about some tickets? I need to bring myself and my family and a bunch of my friends. And you're probably the most popular mayor in the world right now.
The closer FIFA gets here, the more popular I am. That's for sure. But unlike other governments, we're going to make sure our text messages are secure. Okay?
There you go. There you go.
Did I say that out loud?
Yes.
Man, I'm in trouble now.
I did not hear anything because I do have to travel back to Canada, so I did not hear anything. Meghna, so we've been largely talking about leading up to the FIFA event, and we touched a bit upon what happens during. But how will the sustainability efforts that you're leading during the World Cup influence future sport events in Texas?
Yeah, so every project that I work on, I take it as a learning exercise, because it enriches you with success and also failures, and the job is to learn from those failures. But do your best to get there with as much grace as possible. So with this World Cup, we have set up a legacy program. So we actually have a full-time person who's the director of legacy program. The idea is what happens to the community after the games are done and people have gone back to their life. We do not want to have some of these programs as greenwashing. It does not need to be something that was done in those 2 months and then we are done. So we are actually setting up some programs, legacy programs, that will continue after the World Cup. And this is where we are putting soccer pitches in underserved communities or high schools, trying to set up legacy programs where we can do park cleanup or the shoe donation program that I talked about. Have that on an ongoing basis for students to be part of this, not just a one-time thing. So there are a lot of programs that we are working as legacy programs to continue after the World Cup is done. And the sustainability strategy that FIFA produced, it's actually very closely interlinked to the human rights strategy. So the sustainability, human rights, and the legacy piece for the World Cup is very connected, and we work very closely to have certain events like the Grower Summit that happened at Dallas or the Climate Change Symposium that the city of Dallas hosts. it continues and it has the support in the near future to continue at that scale.
Along those lines, Meghna, are there any unique Texas-specific innovations or cultural factors that have helped drive success, and what can some of the other cities that will be hosting these events in the future, not just FIFA event or any live sporting event of this scale, can learn from what you are doing and what Mayor Ross is doing?
Yeah, I think we take our food seriously, right? Texans and especially folks in Dallas. So, there's conversation going on with Visit Dallas to host like fun food sort of a market to represent the food of every country. There are some fun events being planned at Fair Park for the Fan Festival. UTA Library is actually doing an exhibit at the Arlington Museum of Art to show the exhibit for all the countries that are going to come and participate in the World Cup. So the poster was revealed last week. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the Dallas FIFA poster. But kind of leveraging our culture, our history, and our resources to bring in some events, and some of them are still in the works. So like I said, 1 year to go.
Absolutely. Mayor Ross, I wanted to inquire from you, an event like the 2026 FIFA World Cup, after it's over, and Meghna talked about the legacy officer and some of the planning that is happening for what happens after. Are there plans to bid for other larger events after FIFA 2026?
Yeah, the Women's World Cup isn't far.
2031. I think we already submitted a bid for that.
Yes, we have. But it's as soon as one event is done, when we hosted the last Super Bowl, as soon as it was over with, it had an ice storm and some other stuff that created some issues.
Yeah.
People were talking about, when are you going to do it again? Year before last, the Rangers won the World Series. They're ready to do it again.
Yeah.
We hosted the World Series parade in Arlington that had 750,000 people show up at the World Series parade. What's unique about the city and the North Texas area, we had 750,000 people show up at the parade. Less than 10 arrests were made.
Wow. Less
than 10 arrests. I jokingly tell people, if this would have happened in Philadelphia, they'd still be putting out the fire. We had very few arrests, very few incidents. A couple of people went to the hospital because they stepped off a curb and twisted their ankle. But very few incidents on that. So yeah, we're always looking for the next big thing. One of the big things going on even next year is the first ever Grand Prix of Arlington.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Where they're turning a 2.5-mile portion of roadway that surrounds AT&T and Globe Life Field into a racetrack. And we will have IndyCar racing around AT&T and Globe Life Field next year, called the Grand Prix of Arlington. That's going to be a spectacular event down there. So we're always looking for the next big thing. This May we have the Lone Star Cook-Off, which is one of the largest country and western concerts, outdoor concerts with barbecue festival. So all the barbecue you could eat, and all the A-list country and western stars.
I would participate in that
at AT&T Stadium. So, and Lord, we had Taylor Swift.
Right.
Wow.
There's nothing bigger than Taylor Swift. Come on. So it's been very exciting.
And Mayor Ross, are you a Swiftie?
So I used to not be a Swiftie, but I took my granddaughter to a Taylor Swift concert, and Taylor Swift came out and performed for 3.5 hours without a break. And I sat there and watched 100,000 little girls crying their eyes out And Taylor Swift treated them as if they were the princesses.
Yeah.
I became a Swiftie right
There
then
you
and
go.
there. We gave her the key to the city. I tell you what, I am a Taylor Swift Swiftie right now.
There you go. There you go. Meghna, on a personal level, I just wanted to know, there's so many moving parts. There is a lot of effort that is going on to make sure that the World Cup is a success. So what inspires you to personally lead on sustainability in such high-profile, high-impact settings? And what's your vision for future of sustainable sports in Texas?
Yeah, thank you so much. Like I said, I consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to work on this, and hopefully my work at UTA for the past 15 years is a testimony to that. I think my goal is to be authentic and just to avoid greenwashing, and I know failures are going to come. There will always be criticism, but it's a big event, and you just have to take it for what it is and keep working at it with the good intention that it is meant for the community, but also you set up something that carries forward. Over the years, we have so many sporting events. And I also want to say that this is not something that just applies to sporting events. We are talking about concerts and, it's just sort of a way of life, so something that you adopt in your everyday behavior, everyday operation. But working at UTA, which is like the best workplace I've ever had, it has also given me a chance for collaboration. And I really, really believe in strong collaborations with organizations, with people, stakeholder engagement. And that has really helped me over the last 15 years. I can say I almost know everybody in this room, and I say that with pride.
Excellent. And Mayor Ross, final question. Imagine there's a person in a tier 3 city halfway across the world, and they hear about Arlington for the very first time. What would you want them to think about Arlington? What do you want Arlington to be known for around the world?
Love. We know how to treat people.
Yep.
We don't care what you look like. We don't care how you worship. We don't care who you love. We don't care about any of that. I believe that, and we don't care, this is what's unusual about us, we don't care about your political party. That divides people more than anything nowadays. We want you to come to Arlington, treat people with decency and respect, and people should know that they left a city that knows how to love one another. And I think our country, our state, could use a little bit more of that.
Amen. Let's applause to that. Thank you so much, Mayor Ross. Thank you, Meghna. Thank you for giving us your time and wonderful insights into what's happening with FIFA and the future of Arlington. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.